Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome to Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Lori Lydia Lovelace. Tonight we have a fun episode for you. We have Derek Windsor, travel agent, who's talking all things vacation and travel. And we hope that you're hungry because we have Heather Brown with Mrs. Brown's Kitchen talking about her brand new cookbook. You won't want to miss this. Stay tuned. And welcome back. I have a very exciting guest with me here today. I have Derek Windsor, who's a travel agent. So Derek, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Lori. Excellent to be here.
It's so great because traveling is something that me and my partner Curtis, we love doing, and I always wanted to have those discussions. So I'm so glad to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the business for 20 years. This is actually my 20th anniversary this year, 2025.
Wow.
And but my background, I've been heavily involved in community for many, many years, running charities, sport organizations, and also being involved in a lot of community organizations. Like right now, I'm the vice president or incoming president for the St. John's Rotary Club.
Wow.
And I like to be community involved, and the whole travel and working with people has always been a part of me and part of my family and how I was brought up to live my life.
And you're doing such a great job. I mean, you've been doing this for so many years, so I have a lot of questions. I'm just going to get right into this. Is that all right, Derek?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So, since we've seen, Trump's been appointed into presidency, we've seen a lot of, things happening with policies and travel to the U.S. And have you seen a difference in how people plan their travel or their vacation time to the U.S. as of recent?
There's no doubt about it. People are now talking about, what will I do?
Mm-hmm.
So many snowbirds, here in Newfoundland and across the country are making some tough decisions. Some are continuing to go down because they have a lot of money invested in it. Mm-hmm. However, I will say that, he will be there for 4 years. There are a lot of people looking 3 and 4 years out and saying, we need, especially now with the tariffs and the strained relationships and just how people see the United States with regard to human rights and the rights of minorities and so on, that people are saying, look, I'm probably going to go down this year. But
probably had a pre-planned.
Yeah, and they've had it paid for. And the thing is, when it comes to travel insurance, unless you have something that's called, cancel for any reason, to cancel just because you don't like what's going on may or may not.
Reason.
Yeah, may or may not be covered. So, you still need to protect your investment. It is a holiday. And I just came back from the United States myself and had grandchildren down there. But I see next year in this third and fourth year, if things don't change, that people are really going to change on where they want to go and change their destinations.
Have you seen people actually cancel their trips?
Oh yeah, there are people who are canceling.
Yeah.
And may not have had their full payments maybe or something, and have taken a real big, a real definite stance on. If the U.S. are making these kinds of demands on Canada and treating their neighbor and their friend this way in a political way, we have to also make that stance and say, look, we've been friends for hundreds of years, and let's continue to be friends.
Absolutely. And I do have to ask, so my partner and I, we're always looking at all-inclusive trips, and something I've noticed recently is there has been a hike in the prices. Have you noticed that, or do you know what might be causing that hike?
I think it's something that's taking place because of back with the pandemic. The hotels in the destinations, were really hit hard. The airlines were hit just as hard.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that it's just a rebalancing of them making up, for losses over that particular period of time. When they first came back on, it was, okay, we need to get people back into this, so here's an incentive. Now, people are back into traveling, and now we need to balance our own type of book. So I'm hoping that's kind of a natural thing that they're trying to do. But, with the way things are right now and the economy, everybody is finding it tough, and people are having, yeah.
So do you think, like the tariffs and like these staffing issues, you think that might all play a factor into those incorporated costs?
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. People are finding difficulty with their staff, getting staff, not only here in Newfoundland, but in the Caribbean, is still there's a lot of issues that way. So.
And what trends are you seeing? Are you seeing people gravitating towards certain areas, certain different vacation types? What trends and things are you seeing since 2025, I guess?
Well, there has been a trend building over the last little while that, the Caribbean and the all-inclusive kind of made did its thing for a lot of travelers, especially baby boomers. So now a lot of people are looking at a different destination, and that being Portugal, southern France, Spain, basically because one, it's a new look and a different kind of culture, but also from an economic standpoint, Portugal tends to be a good sticker price, both when you're getting over there and also when you get over there. Like just coming back from Florida, the cost of food in Florida right now, to have a home rental, you're paying almost 1.5 times you would if you stayed home. So that, that's a big factor. But if you go over to Portugal and some of these countries, while you're paying the difference in the euro, the price of a container of milk is probably half of what you would pay here, or those kinds of things. So
I actually noticed that. We went to Italy last summer, and I remember thinking for beer was like €2, and I was thinking that's wild. But with the conversion, it's still even quite cheap, right? Yeah.
And so there's places like that, and in 2019 I was in South Africa. So I mean, if you look at South Africa as a destination, yes, it'll take 32 hours to get there possibly, but at the end of the day, when you're down there, you'll be surprised, when you do your exchange of Canadian to their currency. Like you say, you go in, you're buying a beer for probably less than $1 Canadian, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so, are there any new regulations or policies that travelers may or should be aware of?
Well, there is a move in the European Union area to have a visitor visa program, and it's been on the discussion for quite some time now, and I think some of it will be implemented during 2025, and who knows, with the way things are happening with tariffs and between everybody, it may, something may happen in that area earlier than that. So I would suggest that people really pay attention to that, make sure that you have the proper papers and so on.
So, Derek, I know another element of traveling is insurance and how important that is. So can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, ever since the pandemic, there was a lot of people caught without insurance and lost money, or got vouchers and so on. But my advice to anyone, if you're taking like $10,000 to do a trip, well, $10,000 is a big investment, and if you were investing it into anything else, you'd have insurance. So it's very important to make sure that you get yourself covered, whether it's your medical or trip interruption. Everything happens. I mean, just look at the weather. Make sure that you're covered. I work with a couple of different companies who offer good policies and plans, but the biggest thing is make sure you get a policy that's called cancel for any reason.
Like you say, weather in Newfoundland, you never know, and things like that. And there's so many unpredictable factors, so that's a really good.
Well, the example I like to use is, you get up in the morning and you're getting ready to travel, and you look in the mirror and say, I don't look very good today. I can't go on this trip. If you have canceled for any reason, there are some other things that go with it, but generally speaking, it is canceled for any reason. Now, you always have to know the clauses that are involved with that and some restrictions when it comes to the amount that you may receive back and all of that. But generally speaking, you'll get a cancel for any reason, or you'll get a voucher or some kind of thing to protect your investment. And that's what I tell people. You have a big investment, you really need to protect it.
And so we're seeing a situation happening in Cuba. Are you seeing people being more reluctant or traveling to Cuba the same way that they have been?
What I've read and talked to other agents about is the fact that there seems to be a supply chain issue in Cuba. And so the amount, getting food there, the food that is being served and so on, and even the people that are working at each one of these resorts has been reduced, probably because of some sanctions and that kind of thing that are with Cuba right now. So, I love the Cuban people. They are so genuine.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when politics gets involved and things like that, it makes it a difficult choice to go to.
For sure.
Right.
And so, like I said, we went to Italy last year when, we had the time of our lives. So we're looking for something a bit more relaxing or, something easy. So what would you recommend for our travels?
Well, if you want to have a place of your own, rent a vacation home, be quite honest, I would suggest the Algarve in Portugal.
Ooh.
Very relaxed. You can pick up yourself a rental car. Driving around Portugal is like driving around here.
Yeah.
And once you know where you're going and whatever, you got a good GPS. You're pretty good to be able to get around. If you want a nice beach area, whatever, southern France. On the Mediterranean.
Ooh.
Okay. Or Greece or Italy, to be able to go to a couple of places in Greece. Again, the dollar value, the exchange value, really helps, but the sticker price of what you're buying also helps. So.
Yes, and so I have to say, Derek, what's on your shirt right there?
Well, that's the anniversary or the dedication of the 7th Caribou for the Trail of the Caribou in 2022. I had the pleasure of being at the dedication in Gallipoli. And so a lot of my work over the last few years, since 2016, I took 150 or so people over to the 100th anniversary of the Trail of the Caribou and starting at Beaumont Hamel. And so now we're working towards 2026, which would be 110th anniversary. And, there are a lot of people, and I think it's a big area for Newfoundlanders, an important area for Newfoundlanders to visit at some point in their life. I've had the pleasure of being there probably 5 or 6 times now and doing both big tours and small tours with people. And every time I walk on to Beaumont Hamel, and even just talking about it now, like the hair on my arm lifts, because it's such a momentous or momentum a place to be and really touching place to be.
This sounds amazing. And so where can people find you and get in touch with you?
Well, I'm here in St. John's. I have an office in my home on Forest Road. you're welcome. People are welcome to give me a call. We can make an appointment, and 728-8803, or they can give me an email at dwindsor@tpi.ca.
Well, Derek, it's been so wonderful, and thank you so much. You've kept us so informed.
Well, thank you very much, Laurie. It's a pleasure to be here, and anytime at all, if people want to know, just, again, give me a shout.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back after the short break.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
And welcome back. Today I have a very special guest with me. We have Heather Brown of Mrs. Brown's Kitchen, who is influencer and author. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. I have been following you probably from the get-go on TikTok and watching your videos, so I feel like I have an all-star celebrity here with me today. So tell us, how did you get into this journey of cooking and sharing your video content on TikTok?
Very unintentional, accidentally. I just showed some clips of food with trendy audio, and it started very unintentionally.
And you had no, inkling that it would come to what? You're over 230,000 followers right now, or that's what I've seen this morning. It's probably more now.
Right. Yeah.
So how does that feel?
It's overwhelming. It's not something I ever anticipated or planned. It just kind of happened. And the more people engaged, the more I learned, and the more content I created, and it's developed into something pretty big.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact is that, like I said, I've been following you forever. I've even used some of your recipes. So how do you incorporate your recipes, or how do you create your content?
It's a combination of a lot of things, I guess. The food that we like to eat at home, food that people request, things I see, childhood recipes. It's just a big collection of everything, and
it's all coming together.
Yeah, it just all kind of happens.
And you make so much food. So is it between you and your wife, or do you distribute to family members, colleagues?
Especially since I've been writing the cookbook, because I have to make everything that's going in the cookbook to get specific measurements for people and to get a picture. So a lot of that food is given away, family, friends, because we just can't eat it all.
I need to be in your circle. So speaking of that, now, incorporating all your recipes from TikTok, you're now an author and putting in a cookbook with Flanker Press. So tell us a little bit about that journey and that process.
Well, it's very exciting. It's also very new, and it's different. So that's a big learning curve for me too, learning how to put recipes on paper and capture that one picture. And I'm enjoying the process tremendously.
And has been working with Flanker Press and a local publisher.
They're great. Right from the get-go, Jerry said, anything I need, just let them know. Now, I haven't, but if I did, I would definitely reach out to them. They are fabulous. Yeah,
Jerry speaks so highly of you, and even so, what made you want to do this, to incorporate in a cookbook?
I never really realized that it was something I wanted, but people started requesting it almost aggressively. Especially when I joined Facebook. Facebook people were just, we need a cookbook. So then I started to think about it, and I was researching, making your own cookbook through Amazon. And then Flanker contacted me, and it was just an easy option to go with a publisher versus doing it myself.
I have to admit, Heather, I was one of those that pushed. I think I remember commenting, you need to put it in a cookbook. These are amazing recipes. Is there any recipe in the cookbook that's coming up that's, resonates most with you, or something personal for you?
Not really. I tried to take a big collection of everything, all of these years on social media. I feel like most followers have followed me for a reason, for a type of recipe, and I'm trying to incorporate a bit of everything so that nobody is really left out.
And you're a home cook, so they're wholesome. And like I said, I watch your recipes. I send them to Curtis, my boyfriend, all the time. I'm like, listen, we got to make this. This is great. So, you know, what is your cooking technique? What's your method, I guess?
Mostly measure with your heart, enjoyment, no stress. Cooking should be stress-free and a relaxing time, not a stressful time.
And you know, you have your own merchandise and everything, so I won't lie, I'm buying a shirt, so which is great. So you've been getting a lot of publicity lately, and so when does the cookbook come out?
Not until September. Actually, I have maybe 4 recipes left to cook and take a picture of. Ooh. And then it's just, well, I have to do my review before I submit it to them. So it's...
How many recipes roughly do you think you're gonna have?
It's over 100.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, so it's very exciting.
Is it just food, or is it food and drinks? Is it a combination?
No drinks, food, desserts, sweets, meals. There's a Newfoundland chapter in there, you know, and there's childhood favorites and classics.
I love
and
that.
There's a few things I haven't had on social media to make it a little exciting, you know?
Yeah, so, you know, is there any recipe that you feel that you like, or is it in your cookbook, or is it something that you prefer?
My favorite meal is spaghetti, and I don't put it on TikTok because it's not very filmable. But it's my favorite meal.
Yeah, and I did see your Christmas cookies and things that you were doing that way, and I was thinking to myself, like, just the way that you measure with your heart, and your slogan, I gotta ask you about that one too. So we can't say holy, it's balls. So how did you come up with that? Because it's so clever, but it's so fun.
Again, it was just entirely accidental.
Yeah.
When I was filming once during a taste test, it just came out, and it's not something I ever said before that taste test. And people reacted to it like crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And people at work the next day were talking about it. And, you know, I said it again and again, and people just expected it then, so it just became a thing.
And how has life changed for you? Because now you're a local celebrity. You know, you got to own that status. So how has things changed for you since all this fame?
Really, it's been so busy lately that I haven't been able to even process. But yeah, every time I go out anywhere, it's...
Everyone knows you.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you create your content and things like that, so is there a method that you do, or do you sit down and like, I'm going to do this recipe this week, or how does that work? I want to get in your brain.
I create recipes all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of it could be dependent on what ingredients I have in the house at the moment.
Right.
Or a certain thing was on sale and I bought extra of it, so I've got to come up with recipes for that. All different reasons, but sometimes I wake up and I dreamed a recipe the night before. Ooh. But when I think about creating the content, it's all about trying to deliver it as simple, step by step. If it sounds like less steps and it sounds simple, people are more inclined to want to try it.
Literally same. That's why I love your recipes, because they are easy to follow. They're local ingredients or things that you always have in your pantry situation. So I love that about you. Yeah. So what's one cooking tip that you want everyone to kind of know?
Besides measure with your heart, definitely to not be intimidated or feel pressure, just to have fun and enjoy your time in the kitchen.
I love that. And so is there anyone that you want to do a shout out to or thank, through the process, who's been there for you?
Not specifically, but Flanker Press for sure.
Yeah.
And everybody who follows and gives me positive feedback.
Your followers are so loyal and they love you, and I see all the positive comments that come with it. Yeah. So is there any advice that you would have to someone who's a home cook that may want to take the kind of route that you did?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Because when I did it, I never planned or intended to do it. I never even thought it through, and it just happened. So just do it.
I love that. So where can people find you and see more of you, and when will your book come out, and how can they buy it?
TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube is a little baby account, so I would love to get some more subscribers over there.
Yeah.
And the book should be out September.
And so where can you buy that? Flanker Press and online?
It's going to be everywhere. I'm going to have a link available. Flanker Press, Kohl's, Indigo Chapters. The day I announced it, actually, someone from Great Canadian Dollar Store contacted me, and they want to sell them all across the country.
Wow.
And they want me to do signings, so it's going to be available everywhere.
I cannot wait, Heather, because it's going to be a huge success, and we're so proud of you.
I really hope so. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Heather, so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back after this short break. Thanks so much for tuning in to tonight's episode. We want to thank our guest, Derek Windsor, travel agent. So if you're booking your next trip, you might want to reach out to him. And of course, if you're looking for a new recipe or to see Mrs. Brown's Kitchen, check her out on TikTok and buy her brand new book coming out this fall. Until next time, much love.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
Looking for your favorite home renovation shows?
They know what they want. They don't know where to find it.
We do.
Look right here. Only HGTV has all new seasons of Celebrity IOU. The Flipping on Mooses.
Blowing away the competition.
Hometown.
Yeah, baby!
My Lottery Dream Home.
I'm gonna get you your dream house here.
The Flip Off. And more.
Oh my goodness!
You like that? Woo! Watch them all only on HGTV. Get the latest on Rogers Xfinity.
Long way from Nashville, and mama, I tell you that. Performed from Montreal to Boston to Los Angeles. But Toronto, that's my chosen home. Sure, when I'm walking down Yonge Street, I see some funny people who have the nerve to point the finger at me. Grin and smile and whisper. My song was #2 on local radio. Sold 10,000 in Toronto alone. Turned down Ed Sullivan because they asked me to remove my makeup. Wouldn't do American Bandstand because of their segregation policies. I was just being me. Never tried to explain myself to anyone. And besides, none of that to worry, Jackie, because I know I look good. Got a new way of loving, baby. Thought I want to teach it to you.
Jackie Shane was a pioneer transgender soul singer, a central figure in the Toronto R&B scene. She helped shape what we know as the Toronto sound.
This is a brain